Hi friends, welcome back. In today's session we are going to discuss about bulk operations in Entity Framework Core. Whenever we have large number of records, we are going to use this bulk insert or update or delete. So today we are going to discuss on that. I am going to create one new project here. So I am going to select ASP.NET Core Web Application with MVC. This is my project name. I am going to use the latest framework. To perform these operations, we are going to use the Entity Framework Code First approach. I am going to add the references here. Right click on the project, go to the Manage NuGet Packages. Here we are going to install required packages for Entity Framework. Here I am selecting Entity Framework Core, which is having latest version. And for the database, we are going to use SQL Server. I am installing this package also. I am going to use the code first approach, that's why I am installing tools package. To use the bulk operations, we need one more package called efco.bulk extensions. By using this package, we are going to perform the bulk operations. Install this. So we have installed all the required packages. Now I am going to create one model here. For that, I will create a folder called data access layer. Inside this, I am going to create another folder for entities, which I am going to store all my DB entities here. Inside these entities, I am going to create a class here. I will make it as employee. Here I am going to define properties. This is going to be ID and this will be primary key. Here we have to add the required namespaces. So data annotation. I am going to add another property, which is name. So these three fields I am taking for employee. Here we have to add the connection string to migrate this table. I am going to add the connection string inside this app setting.json, so which already we used in our previous examples. I can copy from this. I am going to use it here. Here I am going to change this database name. So I will take this one as my DB name. Now I am going to add DB context. I will create a class for that. This application DB context I need to inherit from DB context. Here I am going to generate a constructor for this with options. Here I want to initialize my employee table, which is DB set. I will make it as employees. Here we have to add the namespace, which is dial.entities. Now we have to add the dependency injection inside our program.cs. That also I will copy it from my previous example. I'll go to program.cs. Here I'm going to add the dependency injection. Here we have to pass our DB context name. This is my DB context name. Go to the controller. I'm going to reuse this home controller. I'll remove everything here. I don't want all these things. I'll keep only index action method here. Here I am going to initialize my database context to access the employee table. This I am going to add it inside the constructor. Now I can access employee table from controller. Also I need stopwatch here to check the time, how much it takes to perform the insert or update or delete operations. This also I am going to inject into our constructor. Also we have to add dependency injection for this stopwatch. For that I am going to add here. Here I have to pause stopwatch. Here I am going to create one method to insert the data. I'll make it as async which will return string. I'm going to make it as insert. Here I am going to pass list of employees. Here I have to add the missing namespace. Here I am using for loop. Here I will pass the number of records. I'll make it as 10,000. Here I am going to add employees to the list one by one. Here I am going to pass employee name. Here I am hard coding employee names. I will pause the I here. So first one it will added as employee underscore 0, then it will be incremented by 1, and designation also I will make it like this. So after reading all the employees, here I am going to insert the data. Here I am going to use bulk insert async. I will pause the employee list here. So here before performing insert operation, I am going to start the timer here. Start, or else we can pause it here also. Here only we are going to insert the records. So after inserting I am going to stop the timer here. Finally I will return the time, how much it takes for insertion. Here I am going to display how many records it's inserted. So this one we can pass it from here. I'm going to call it from index. So here I can pass int total records. I'll make it 10,000, and from here I'm going to pass. From here I'm going to call the insert method. Here I'll pass the total records. So instead of hard coding this value, I'll pass this total records here. Here I can check how much time it is taken to insert the data. So this method I'm going to call it from index action method. Here I'm going to make it as task. Since it is a asynchronous method, I'm adding as task. So from index action method, I'm going to call this insert method, so which I'm passing total number of records need to insert. So in this case I'm passing 10,000 as total records. It will be added one by one, and finally this employee list will be passed to the bulk insert function. So this will be executed. So once it is executed, we are stopping this timer and we will get the total time elapsed to insert these records. We'll try to build the applications. Build failed. Okay, here we have to add scoped. We'll build the application once again. Build succeeded. Now I'm going to migrate this database and this table to our SQL Server. For that I'm going to open package manager. Here I'll add migration and I'll name it as initial. So here we have to change the default project. Default project currently selected as CRUD with Web API. Here we have to change our project. This is our project. I'll run the command again. So whenever we have multiple applications, we have to set the startup project here. Now I'll update the database here. We'll refresh the database. So this is the database which we created now, and we have created employee table with 3 fields. So our database and table has been migrated. Whenever this insert is successfully completed, we will get the message like this. So we are going to display this to the user. For that, here I am going to store inside result. This result I am going to store it in temp data. I'll add the key name as message. This is going to be result, and this message I am going to display inside our index view. I'll go to the views, go to the home index. I'll remove these things. Here I'm going to read message. Here I will validate is there any message available or not. If it is not null, then I am going to display inside Bootstrap alert. Run the application. Here we got the message like total records inserted is 10,000 records and time taken to insert 06 seconds. We will check the database table. I'll remove this. I'll make it as select star from this table, execute it. So 10,000 record has been inserted. Now I'll try to update these records. For that I'm going to create another method here. I'm going to update now. I'll make it as update. Here I have to pass the ID also. I'm going to make it as +1. And instead of insert, I'm going to make it as update. Total records updated. Now instead of calling this insert method, I'm going to call it update. I'll comment this insert one and I'm going to use update. I'll run this. Here for updation we will change this update employee, and like this designation also I'll change it. Currently we inserted as employee and the ID number we inserted. For update I'm going to add this text so that easily we can check whether these records are updated or not. Now we have commented insert method. We are going to call this update. We'll run this. So total records updated 10,000. It taken 6 seconds to update these records. We'll check the table now, execute. So all the record has been updated here. Now we will implement this for deletion also. I'm going to copy this. Here I'll make it as delete, and here I no need of this one. Straight away I'm going to get the list of employees from the table, and this is also not required. Employee list equal to, so where I can read it from context dot employees table, I can make it as list. So I'm going to pass this employee list to this delete. I'll make it as bulk delete. Here we are going to get the total records from the employee list.count. Now I'm going to call this delete method from the index view. I'll comment this. So we are going to delete all the records which is available inside the table. We'll run the application. So total records deleted, it's 10,000, and time taken to delete only milliseconds it's taken to delete the records. We will check the database, execute the query. So we don't have any data. We have deleted all the records from the table. Now instead of making 10,000, I'm making as 1 lakh records. I'm going to insert now. I'll comment this delete method. I'm going to perform insert alone now. So now instead of 10,000, we are going to pass 1 lakh records here. I'll run the application. So total 1 lakh records inserted in 9 seconds. Now I'm going to check the database whether these records are inserted or not. So we have 1 lakh records here, and now I'm going to update these records. So we are trying to update these 1 lakh records. Run the application. So now 1 lakh records updated within 12 seconds. Now we'll try to delete these records. I'm going to comment this update method. I'll uncomment this delete. Run the application. So total records deleted is 1 lakh and time taken 2 seconds. We will check the database. Execute this. We don't have any data. We have deleted successfully. When we have large number of data, that time we are going to use this bulk operation. That's it for today. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.